Good morning and welcome to another edition of Our Town here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swinson. Our Town, as always, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. It was one of those weeks when my schedule and the schedule of our guest just didn't want to coincide. It was the jigsaw puzzle that you've lost a couple of pieces to this week. Nobody's fault, just one of those things that happens with everybody's busy schedule from time to time. But we have two guests this morning, and they're pretty dang awesome guests. A little later on in the program, we will talk to Hunter Slifka. He's with the Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame Board. Coming up tomorrow night, they will have their annual border battle in Cresco. We'll hear about that event. And coming up next month, it'll be the 50th anniversary of Helping Services for Youth and Family. And we thank Ben Krouse-Gagne for taking a few minutes to joining us and tell us all about Helping Services for Youth and Family. And he will be our kickoff guest on the program this morning. You are listening to Our Town. It is brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. And your dial is set to 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Chatting now with Ben Krouse-Gagne. He is with Helping Services for Youth and Families. And of course, we talked to Ben and a lot of folks with Helping Services on a lot of subjects over the years. And we're going to celebrate Helping Services as an organization coming up next month. Ben, tell us about the celebration you have scheduled for April 22nd.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, so Helping Services is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, which is an exciting milestone for all of us and all the work that's been done over the years. So, as you mentioned, we're going to be hosting a celebration event on Saturday, April 22nd. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. at Impact Coffee in Decorah here. So it'll be a celebration event. All are welcome. And you can find out more information, obviously, by going to our website at helpingservices.org. But it should be a fun night to celebrate our history.
And the history of this organization, how did Helping Services get off the ground half a century ago?
Yeah, so it's kind of a unique story and very connected to Northeast Iowa, and it's in Decorah. It kind of started out of students from Luther and faculty at Luther College, kind of seeing the community and youth who needed some support or a place to go. So it started as the Decorah Information Center, Trouble Line, or some may remember the Hobbit Hole, and in Decorah. So in the early 70s, so it was a place for youth to call if they needed support, if it's mental health or drug questions or anything that they may need. And it became a center where youth would come and stop in, and it's kind of evolved from there. And now we serve 8 counties in Northeast Iowa, not just Decorah. It started as just Decorah, so it's a fun night. So it's at our event, we'll have a few of our founding members who started this 50 years ago, kind of sharing the story of our founding and kind of evolving from there. And it's been wonderful to see how the organization has grown. We've had countless volunteers, so we're grateful for everyone who's played a role in Helping Services history.
And you mentioned the evolving of this organization. How has it grown over the years, and what was the impetus to make this organization grow?
Yeah, so Helping Services, it's our mission is to make our communities healthier and safer for all. So that's kind of, even to its founding, it might not have had that mission statement written down, but that's kind of what they did and what we did as an organization. So obviously starting out in Decorah in a small, in a small way, just being a line for people to call or a place for people to stop in and kind of evolve from there. It's kind of connected to our roots. We still have a 24-hour resource line for folks to call, especially, folks experiencing domestic violence. We still are working on drug prevention, drug use prevention, and gambling prevention for people and education out there. And we've added pieces, if it's youth mentoring or if it's our family education program, and expanding out from Decorah and working with the communities to solve their needs. So it's all kind of connected in that aspect. We've obviously grown our scope through funding, through different grants that we've received and different programs that we've provided. But it's all back to making our communities healthier and safer, and it's and everything we do revolves around that.
How long have you been involved in the organization, and how rewarding is the work that you do?
Yeah, so I've been at Helping Services for now 5 years, so it's only a short time in the grand scheme of the history of the organization. But to your question, it's in awe of the work that's going on here. We have 26 full-time staff throughout 8 counties here now, evolving from, back in the 70s when we were founded, we didn't have any staff. And, really, it's people working the grounds, talking to the community members, figuring out where funding can come from. And it's amazing what can be done with a little bit of resources. And, as our funding has increased, more and more people that we serve. So it's hundreds and thousands of hours that people have spent making this all possible. So it's amazing the work that's being done in the community, and we're continuing to do that, and that's something we're celebrating this milestone of 50 years, but it's not an end or anything like that. So it's just launching into the future and how our organization evolves, and that is through conversations with people in their communities and how we can partner to strengthen our communities and make Northeast Iowa a safer and healthier place for all to live in.
And you mentioned some of the founders of your organization are going to be at this event on April the 27th, and I'd guess it would be interesting to talk to them from where this organization started to where it is now, and what the next 50 years will be. That process would be interesting to chat with those folks and to see if they thought the communities would be served as well as they are by your organization, just from a small idea 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable hearing from folks who founded us out of nothing, basically, and now we're a well-established organization through our, I guess that's through the history of our work. So it's kind of, we're already, there's already folks who have RSVP'd for the event on April 22nd, and we're excited that more and more people will be coming. The event is free. We just ask people to RSVP to help us plan that night, but it's hearing from them about kind of pieces of our history, and it's something that continues to evolve. And just because we're doing one thing today or doing something the way we do it today, it doesn't mean that's how we're going to do it in the future. It's our services are ever evolving, and that's true from our founding 50 years ago, and will continue to be so moving forward.
And you mentioned you want folks to RSVP for this event. Are the RSVPs open, and how, if so, how do folks do that?
Yeah, so our event on April 20th, we just ask you to RSVP. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything or anything like that. There's no tickets. We ask you to RSVP to help us plan, so we know the number of people and things like that. So you can go to our website at helpingservices.org. There's a link right on there. It's to RSVP, or on our social media on Facebook. You can find that as well, and we'll be pushing stuff out via email and other things. But we ask the folks to RSVP or give us a call. You can give us a call at 563-387-1720 to find out more information. And I know there's some folks that, this event may not fit in their schedule, and there's a lot of things going on, obviously, this spring. So we understand if it may not work for you, but it's, if you want to celebrate, there's different ways to get involved. You can either, you can volunteer in one of our programs, or you can make a special donation, or tell your neighbors or friends about Helping Services and the work that's being done in the community. So it's there's many ways to get involved as well, not just attend this one event, but if you're able to be there on April 22nd, we'd love it.
Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on about this specific event that we're discussing, or anything else about Helping Services right now?
No, I mean, I think the most important, Helping Services is here for you. So it's we're in partnership with you. So we're having conversations through our community coalitions, talking to your city council, county board of supervisors, volunteers. So there's ways to get involved for everyone in Helping Services, and the only reason we're here is because of all the work that we're doing with you. So that's the most important thing, is Helping Services is here for you. So reach out if you want to get involved.
All right, Ben, we appreciate you taking the time to join us on the show, talk about all the good things that continue to go on with helping services and how the community can celebrate all the good your organization does coming up next month. We'll probably have you on the show as the event gets closer on April 22nd, but thanks for the time as always, and thank you for and everybody at Helping Services for the good they do for our community.
Wonderful. No, thanks for having me.
Ben Krouse-Gagne with Helping Services for Youth and Families. Coming up Friday night in Cresco, it's the 21st annual Border Battle Wrestling event. And here to discuss the event, Hunter Slifka. He is now with the Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame board. Hunter, tell us about the event coming up this week. Obviously, it started a long time ago, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, it's a great event Friday night coming up here. We're gonna have some awesome athletes from Northeast Iowa, Southeast Minnesota, going head to head. Something new that we're gonna try to incorporate our best this year is trying to get a few girls matches. And so we got Naomi Simon from Decorah, who's obviously a 3-time state champion, and then a couple girls from Southwind who are state place finishers and state qualifiers. So we're working on putting together some really good matchups for Friday night.
Talk about the work it takes to get these matchups together. Obviously, Iowa's been done with wrestling 2-3 weeks now, but Minnesota just closed out their tournament last week. How much work does it take to get all these matchups together?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an easy process getting kids to commit to things anymore nowadays, but we want to reach out to some of the best kids in the area and not just get anyone. And so targeting those kids and getting them to commit, and then trying to match them up with Minnesota. Being our seasons are ending at different times. Obviously with the Minnesota State tournament just this last weekend, some of those kids like to have a little bit of time off and like to relax a little bit. And so you struggle a little bit trying to get kids in that aspect, but nonetheless, we're going to have a great lineup and a great card to put together and have some great matchups.
Who has been confirmed that they will be on the mat come Friday night?
So I can only speak on the Iowa side. Minnesota, I think they keep their cards held pretty tight. They don't like any secrets getting out, which I can't blame them. But so I know we got 3 wrestlers from Crestwood. Cole Butikoffer, state runner-up this year, 160 pounds. And then 2 state qualifiers, Cade Korsmo and Ryan Wilson. We also have Brady Stilley from Decorah. He was a 4th place finisher this year. We'll have a trio of wrestlers from Waukon, Jacob Reagan, the Palmer, and then Cullen Dixon as well. And then we have a heavyweight from Postville, Gutierrez, and then I believe there's a couple more there that will Giles Cowell from Chipola. And so there'll be some really good wrestlers facing off Friday night.
And what is the goal of this event on a year-to-year basis?
Yeah, so I haven't been in the trenches and working on it too long, so I can only speak for these last few years. But personally, it's just the promotion of the sport of wrestling and getting these high athletes, high caliber athletes out there on the mat to showcase, put on a show for those fans. I know this year we're going to allow all youth wrestlers in the door free to try to promote that the best we can, get as many kids in the door to see what they have to look up to. I know when I was in high school, it was always an event that I wanted to be invited to, I wanted to be a part of, just because there are some really good wrestlers that have came through the years. I mean, I can think back to like Kyle Pedretti and Sanders from Minnesota facing off, matchups like that. I mean, even like last year with Anders Kittleson and Carter Fossick, 2 previous teammates, very high athletes, high caliber athletes got to face off. So really promoting the sport and putting on a show for those fans.
If I'm not mistaken, you participated in this event a few years ago. What's it like to be a part of this as a wrestler and now a guy that's helping organize everything?
Yeah, I mean, I can remember back, it's almost like when you're going to the freestyle Greco tournaments, there's no stress. It's a fun night. We'd weigh in. It didn't matter what you weighed in, just wanted to be close. A group of us Iowa guys, we went down to A&W, ate some burgers, a lot of fried food that we probably didn't need right before a competition, but just that kind of non-stress environment, having fun with it. And then obviously you want to win the dual meet. And so Iowa versus Minnesota, I mean, at that point, I remember when we wrestled, I think Iowa was actually behind in the series. And we got the win that night off actually a pretty big fall that we were losing the match in. And so it's always fun getting down to the battle and then seeing those team points come up and cheering on kids who maybe you were rivals with that are now your teammates that night. So it's an absolute blast. And then being able to look back as I coached it one year and then now helping putting it together, just trying to put those best matchups together. Obviously, I always want to see Iowa win, but at the end of the day, I just want to see the best matchups possible.
And from a competition standpoint, I know the competition isn't the total focus of this, but you guys are competitive. You guys, once you get on the mat, you want to win. I believe it's 10-10 between Iowa and Minnesota right now, correct?
I believe so. I
Yeah.
believe so. I can't remember. I'd have to look back. It might be 11-9, to be honest. I think it's 11-9. I think Iowa's got the last couple here.
All right. Well, I stand corrected or sit corrected in this case. Tell us about start time, the admission, everything like that.
Yeah, so 7 o'clock start time. Whistle's going to be blowing. I want to say it's $6 for adults and students to get in the door. Like I said, all youth wrestlers are getting in free. What we wanted to see on those youth wrestlers is show up with your club or your youth t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you got for apparel, so you can show that off. Stand proud of where you're from and what you're a part of. And so we're looking to put as many kids and fans in those stands as possible.
And there's always a lot of people that help you put on this event, and I'd imagine they deserve a thank you too.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a great board of directors here in the Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame. Dennis Merrick, Jason Passmore, Jim Turvold, Tom Fye, Justin Sovereign, Merle Sovereign, Jerome Harushka, Cindy Butikoffer, all put in a lot of work behind the scenes. And so definitely a big thanks to those guys that have been doing it for many, many years, long before my time. So
anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on about the border battle coming up Friday night?
No, just hope to see you guys all there. I'd be remiss to say definitely put on your calendars for Monday, April 10th. Will be our Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame Awards Banquet, where we're going to induct 4 more inductees this year. So put that on the calendar, and we hope to see you here Friday night at 7 o'clock.
All right, Hunter, appreciate the time. Should be a great event as always, and good to see guys like you stepping up and helping out and making this event a reality and keeping a strong Northeast Iowa and a wrestling event going here in Cresco.
Absolutely. Whatever we can do to promote the sport and grow it. So
Hunter Slifka with the Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame board. Border battle coming up Friday night in Cresco, 7 o'clock start time. The other guest we were going to have on this morning was from the Turkey Valley Education Foundation. They will hold their annual gala next Friday night, 5:30 social hour, 6:30 meal, Friday night, March 17th at the Waukoma Events Center. The foundation provides financial support to benefit the entire student body at Turkey Valley Schools through a nonprofit organization. The evening will begin with the social hour, followed by a prime rib and wine dinner with dessert. Tickets are $45. During the social hour, guests can bid on silent auction items and have an opportunity to purchase chances for a 50-50 drawing after the meal. The foundation will have the live auction. Your child's class will have a class project to be auctioned off during that time. There will be numerous one-of-a-kind items offered during the live auction, from school memorabilia to travel expenses to support local fire departments and sheriff departments partnerships. And your student can participate in all of that. If you are interested in purchasing tickets for the gala, you can get a hold of the Turkey Valley School office, or you can talk to our guy, Dave Anderson. His number is 319-290-3945. And the deadline to purchase tickets is tomorrow, because their caterer needs to know that the numbers heading into the weekend as well. And just to keep in mind, next Friday is a Friday, and we are during Lent. So that obviously has its effect on some people, but the Archbishop has granted a dispensation from abstaining from meat on St. Patrick's Day and that coming from Father Radloff. So everyone can enjoy their prime rib next week for the Turkey Valley Education Foundation Gala. For tickets, get a hold of the Turkey Valley Schools or call Mr. Dave Anderson, 319-290-3945. I want to thank our other guest on the program this morning, Hunter Slifka, the Iowa Wrestling Hall of Fame, putting on the border battle tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Crestwood High School. And we want to thank Ben Krouse-Gagne, Ben, part of Helping Services for Youth and Family. Their 50th anniversary celebration will take place April 22nd. And we hope to have some people on as that date gets closer, perhaps a couple of the founders for Helping Services for Youth and Family. And we can tell you about that as shows go on in the future. Don't forget to check out our show on YouTube each and every week. We realize you can't always be near a radio or streaming device at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, but we have the privilege of talking to interesting and entertaining and engaging people on a week in and week out basis. And we want to bring that content to you on your schedule. So if you want to, you can actually watch this show on YouTube, 39 Our Town program, and we also put up the link at our social media channels, the Facebook pages of all of our LA Communications radio stations. So a thank you to our guest, a thank you to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust, and most importantly, we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town. You're on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.